I have this huge final project due in 3 months, and every time I think about it, my brain just stops. I sit down to work, I open my computer, and I just stare at a blank document. It feels like standing at the bottom of a giant mountain. I know I have to climb it, but I can't even see the top. Where do you even start with something that big?
Most students think the first step is to make a perfect plan. They try to map out the entire journey from the bottom of the mountain to the top.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm trying to do. I need to know the whole path before I take the first step, but I can't see it, so I do nothing.
That feels like the responsible way to think, but it's often the reason we stay stuck at the bottom. The real problem isn't the size of the project. It's the belief that you must see the end from the beginning.
But if I don't have a plan, I'll just get lost. I'll waste time going in the wrong direction.
Let's reframe that. You don't need a perfect map of the entire mountain. You just need to know how to find the very next stone to step on.
The next stone? What does that mean?
Students often think about the final goal, the finished thesis, the completed presentation. That's the peak of the mountain, and it's too far away. It's paralyzing.
It is. It feels impossible.
So we forget the mountain. We don't even think about it. Instead, we ask a much smaller, much simpler question. What is the very first thing I need to make? Not the first thing I need to do, but the first thing I need to make.
Make? Like write the first sentence?
Even smaller than that. Before you can write a sentence, maybe you need a list of 5 key articles to read. That list is a thing you can make. It's a thing you can hold in your hand or see on your screen. It's a physical object.
A list of articles. Okay, I can do that. That doesn't feel so scary.
Exactly. In project management, this small, specific thing you produce is called a deliverable.
A deliverable. So instead of work on my project, my goal becomes create a list of 5 articles.
Precisely. And once you have that deliverable, you ask the question again. Okay, now what is the next small thing I need to make? Maybe it's a 1-page summary of just one of those articles. That is your next deliverable. The project is no longer a big, scary idea. It's just a chain of these small, concrete things.
So you're saying I break the whole project down into a list of deliverables?
You try. You won't see all of them at first, and that's okay. You only need to see the next 1 or 2. The goal is to shift your focus from the terrifying abstract goal to a simple, tangible task. You can't finish your thesis today, but you can create a document with 3 possible titles today.
Okay, that makes sense. It feels lighter. But what about the deadline? It's 3 months away. How do I know if I'm on track? I could be making all these little deliverables and still be moving too slowly.
This is the second trap for students. They see 2 dates, the start date and the final deadline. The entire time in between feels like one long anxious period.
Yes, it's this constant low-level panic. I feel like I have lots of time, but also no time at all.
This happens because the final deadline is the only goalpost. It's too far away to create any real urgency until the very end. Then panic takes over. The solution is to create your own goalposts along the way.
Like setting my own deadlines? I've tried that. I just ignore them. They don't feel real.
Perhaps deadline is the wrong word. A deadline feels like a point of failure. Let's think of them as points of success. Think of a long road trip. You don't just drive for 20 hours straight. You plan to stop in certain cities. Reaching each city is a small victory. It shows you're making progress. In a project, this is called a milestone.
A milestone? So what would a milestone for my thesis be?
It's a collection of your smaller deliverables. A good milestone might be, end of week 2. I will have a complete outline and a list of all 20 primary sources. That's not just a task. It's a meaningful achievement. It proves you have finished a whole section of the work.
So the deliverables are the small stones, and the milestones are bigger markers on the path.
A perfect way to put it. You might have a milestone for completing your research, another for finishing the first draft, another for completing all the edits. They break the journey into manageable stages. And when you hit a milestone, you allow yourself to feel that success. It refills your motivation.
So I'd have maybe 4 or 5 big milestones before the final deadline.
Exactly. Suddenly, your 3-month project is no longer one long road. It's 5 shorter, more predictable journeys. Your brain can handle that much better.
Okay, I see the path now. Deliverables are the daily steps. Milestones are the weekly or monthly checkpoints. But this all assumes my plan is good. What if I get to my second milestone, say finishing the first draft, and I realize my entire argument is wrong? It feels like all that structure is a waste. It feels rigid.
This is a very important point, and it leads to the third common trap, Believing the plan is a promise you must keep. Students think that a good plan, once made, should not change.
Right. Changing the plan feels like failure. It feels like I didn't think hard enough at the beginning.
But discovery is a natural part of any complex project. You will learn things in month 2 that you couldn't possibly have known in month 1. A plan is not a prison. A plan is a compass. It gives you a direction, but if you find a river you can't cross, you must adjust your path.
So it's okay to change the plan?
It's not just okay, it's necessary. The best students and professionals don't just follow a plan, they constantly review it. They finish a week of work, look at their plan and ask, is this still the right way? Did I learn something that changes my next steps? This process of refining your plan based on new information is how you iterate.
Iterate? So I'm not just doing the project, I'm also doing the plan, again and again?
A little bit, yes. You iterate on the plan. Maybe every Sunday you look at your milestones. You see the progress you've made on your deliverables. Then you ask, does my plan for next week still make sense? This isn't failure. This is intelligence. It's how you steer the project, instead of letting the old plan drive you into a wall.
That makes sense, but it still feels hard. If this is true, why do good students still struggle? Even with a good plan, sometimes you just get stuck or lose motivation completely. The milestones seem too far away.
That mid-project slump is very real. It often happens when the initial excitement is gone, but the final deadline is still too far away to feel urgent. This is where your system needs to be honest about one more thing: your time and energy.
What do you mean?
Sometimes we make a beautiful plan with milestones and deliverables, but it's pure fantasy. It doesn't connect to reality. We need to look at our week, our real week, with classes, work, and life, and decide where the project fits. You need to allocate specific, protected time for it.
So like scheduling work on thesis in my calendar for 2 hours on Monday.
Yes, but even more specifically, you don't just allocate time for the project, you allocate time for a specific deliverable. Your calendar shouldn't say work on thesis. It should say find 5 primary source articles. It's a task you can actually finish in that time.
Ah, so the calendar entry becomes a mini deliverable. That makes it less intimidating to start.
It makes it possible to start. And you have to be realistic about the project size. Many students fail because they misunderstand the true scope of the work.
The scope? You mean how big it really is?
Yes, they think a 10-page paper is just about writing 10 pages. They forget the research, the outlining, the drafting, the editing, the formatting. The real scope is much larger. If your plan doesn't respect the true scope of the project, it will break, and so will your motivation.
So the system is connected. I need to understand the scope to create realistic milestones. I need milestones to structure my weeks, and I need to break the work into small deliverables to allocate my time properly. And I have to be willing to iterate on the whole plan as I learn more.
Exactly. It's not a rigid set of rules. It's a simple living system. You define the work with deliverables. You measure progress with milestones. You manage your effort when you allocate time. And you stay intelligent when you iterate on the plan. You're no longer climbing a mountain in the fog. You're laying one stone, then the next, on a path that you control.
I think I get it. The goal isn't to feel motivated. The goal is to make the next step so small and obvious that you don't need motivation to do it.
That is the heart of it. You build momentum from small, completed actions, not from big, inspiring thoughts.
So for my thesis, my first deliverable is a list of 5 articles. I will allocate 2 hours for that tomorrow afternoon. My first milestone will be to have a complete outline by the end of next week. And I'll accept that the scope of this project is bigger than I think, so I need to be patient.
And what will you do next Sunday evening?
I'll look at my plan, and I will iterate if I need to. I'll adjust the path.
It feels possible now. I don't need to know the ending to start. I just need to know the very next step. That's it. That's the whole journey. Hello, everyone. We hope that shift in thinking was helpful for you.
If there's a specific challenge or topic you're facing as a student, please let us know in the comments. We read all of them.